with a common denominator.
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Let's talk about something important. Put that coffee down.
I'm not here to waste your time.
Where else you gonna have this much fun?
You the man. Todd Father.
Show me the money.
What I've been doing, had to triple my bag.
Had to triple my bag.
Wow.
Had to triple my bag.
Wow.
Had to triple my bag.
Yeah.
Had to triple my bag.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, it's no trick to make a lot of money. All you want is to make a lot of money.
What's going on, guys? Yes, we are back. Another duo live show here at Learn Crypto. Make sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you like daily updates on stock and crypto, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and news. My name is Nick Hellman.
I'm Todd Butterfield.
The man with the plan, taking us all to Lambo Land. Shout out to Yannick, Casper, and the others that are already in the chat box. We can see the YouTube chat live. We see the Twitter chat and Facebook chat after the fact. We got a lot to get over here. I mean, Bitcoin and Ethereum continuing to stay in these triangles that look very bearish for one more poke lower, but we do see a little bit of a rally today in those as the CPI numbers did come in under expectations, which hints that, yes, a Fed interest rate cut is coming by the end of October. What do you got going on today, Todd?
Not too much. Took a little profit on that oil stock I mentioned 3 or 4 days ago, and as you say, watching these triangle formations, they've set up pretty good, but now I'm guessing the whole world is starting to see them, so we shall see. There's Madlack. I got a feeling I know who that is, so let me give him a wrench. There we go.
All right, if you want to throw it over to my screen, we'll start with CoinGecko. Todd will then go over the charts for the large caps, and then we'll touch base on some small caps and, of course, the questions in the live show. This is Friday. Same thing we said last Friday. The stock market close kind of dictates the direction of the weekend. We want stocks to close green for hopefully easier rallies in crypto over the weekend as well. Todd's going to go over the charts because I did mention a couple times both Bitcoin and Ethereum do have bearish triangles forming, which usually 66% of the time lead to a drop. But there is a possibility if you get over certain levels, we can break towards the upside and head towards new all-time highs. Todd will talk about those levels. The past 7 days, Bitcoin up 3.9%, Ethereum underperforming, only up 2.5%, and BNB up 3.7%. What is this? XRP outperforming everything, up 8.7%, but still always $2.50. XRP has a run and then literally becomes a stable coin for years on end. Not our favorite, but shout out to everybody who's outperforming slightly with XRP over the last week. And Solana up 4.3%. Everybody gave up on Solana, but it is still sticking around that $200 level. Let's see, the biggest winners, Zcash, nothing new here. Privacy sector is still on fire. Zcash hit a high of $300, new highs for the move like we predicted, and then sold off, sitting back down here at 256. The Zen chart looks a lot like that. The Wyckoff schematic still intact, and hopefully Zen can work higher towards the $20 target as well. Pump Fun resurrecting itself, up 15% in the past week, and Meme Core up 13. Monero, another privacy coin, up 12.8. Biggest losers before Todd looks at the chart. I don't know. This Chain Opera AI keeps finding itself on the biggest loser list and the biggest gainer list. I don't even know what that is. Provenance, Blockchain, and Leo. So for you guys are losing, but not losing all that big over the past 7 days, as the market has pretty much been flatlined in this consolidation period, looking for direction, Todd. So what is going on in the charts? What will be the direction of this seemingly stalled crypto market? While gold went to new all-time highs, stocks went to new all-time highs, crypto just waiting and waiting and lurking.
All right, the usual Bitcoin chart. There's a triangle. I've been looking for this really since the lows. Made a few trades in Ethereum, trying to take a little bit of money out while we set. But and now we got the whole world knowing this is a triangle. So going to be interesting over the weekend. We're having the Dow close up. Well, we're up 560, I think I just saw. 565, S&P up 664. So will be an interesting weekend. I still look for this to resolve lower. You can see technometer 44.53 neutral. Nothing to write home about. You know why I've been leaning a little bit bearish, because of all these overbought readings have stopped these rallies pretty well cold. Let's look at Ethereum.
What level on Bitcoin do you need to get above to invalidate that triangle, potentially flip bullish?
I might mention live a few days ago that 114 print's going to screw up the triangle. Anything probably above the 112 now. I mean, I hate to say that over a low volume weekend, but 112 would start making you think maybe we're in trouble. 113, and then definitely 114 screws up the triangle. So, and there we are in Ethereum, same type of thing. I got some of the buys and sells marked, but got there above 4,000 for the E-wave. See volume not coming in, really going sideways. Technometer 42.26. So again, nothing really to add there. XRP, as Nick mentioned, setting at 250. Same type of triangle, just a little bit stronger. So not much to add there. And then we go back to gold and silver. I've been saying still lower there, so not sure this morning they opened lower. They've caught themselves. Could rally up to that 78 level before another dash down, but myself, I'd like to see below 67, even be deep to 60. So we'll see more weakness in the metals and see what that does to Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think gold still trends lower to sideways, and we're going to see a rotation from Bitcoin, from gold to Bitcoin. So we'll see if that plays out. Of course, we saw that when the major gold top happened and it had the big drop, and then Bitcoin went way up. But Bitcoin gave up all those gains and just hasn't kept up with the market in quite a while. So part of that is due to there is some dormant whales, wallets that haven't been active for like 10 years and 15 years are waking up, and they have sold 500 million, a billion, 9 billion worth of Bitcoin into the rallies. So obviously you got to eat through all those sellers. Now they just probably think, hey, somewhere around here is high, but it really doesn't matter to me because I bought Bitcoin at $500 and $1,000, and now it's worth 100,000. So they're just cashing in their millions of dollars, which is fine. But that's what we're fighting through currently.
I'm going to go over one trade here I mentioned. I believe it was Tuesday. Let me go back to the oil trade I was showing. Down here, I talked about this 5 waves up in green and a WXY red. And crude was sitting down there around 57. Trump's news did run it up here, if that's what it was. I mean, technically, we were looking for that. I did take some profits this morning. I'd mentioned NBR was setting up perfectly. I did show on some of the setups we look for with the Wyckoff indicators. Volume hitting new lows in blue, price hitting higher lows, getting oversold technometer. That's the classic setup that you want to find. Oversold technometer means that volume is climactic on the downside, and it had been trending lower. And then we actually gave us the primary trading opportunity of a jump and a backup. So did stall out there for 4 or 5 trading sessions and then ignited. So in transparency, I did take profits on NBR because we do have earnings on Tuesday. You can see October 28th. I don't want that slapping me. If that does slap the stock, I'll be right back in it. Otherwise, the crude chart looks like, as long as we keep taking out resistance, could continue to work much higher. And another position that a few clients was on was that USO down there, 68, 69 level. And again, there we got to keep taking out 78, 81, 84, but that's something I think could happen. So what's that do to the economy? What's that do to interest rates? Only the shadow knows.
We got the Wise Tent in here saying, hey, boys, another slow week. We are back, though, to talk about it and walk you through some positions because some of the positions we've been talking about in live shows are up, and some of the other positions we sold off for profits continue to trend lower. So we're waiting for buybacks on those. RJ says, what's up? What is going on, RJ? Good to see you.
On?
If you want to throw it to my screen, Todd, the one thing that has outperformed Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and everything on the 7-day that we looked at early in the show, well, that's all. Every single one of the Pulse Chain blue chips is outperforming all the top assets in crypto for the past 7 days. PLS is up 14.7%. PLSX is up 14.2%. Inc. up 9.92%. And Hex up a whopping 15.3%. Is some of the Treasury wallet from Richard Hart making its way to Pulse Chain to prop up these prices? Or is Pulse Chain just so oversold that it is time for it to catch another bid? Remember, last time Ethereum ran into the 4,000s, Pulse Chain was right on its tail, and the altcoins on that network were doing very well. Well, this time, Ethereum and Bitcoin both have bearish triangles forming, yet Pulse Chain is outperforming on its own, as it doesn't really have much liquidity bonding to those, and the speculation of will that Ethereum be used to pump this chain is in full effect, as all that Ethereum has now been pushed through Tornado Cash into new wallets, so you cannot track it any longer. So let's see what's going on, but just wanted to show this. It's always good to see green over on Pulse Chain, because that means some of our positions like PTGC is up today, Surf is up 10%, and the Rome token up 60% today, up like 169% since the recent buy order 9 days ago.
Nothing going on the chat. Friday afternoon, 2:16.
Unfortunately, Coinbase did bounce a little bit today. I didn't like to see that. Following the stocks, while Bitcoin hasn't done much, Coinbase rallied hard off the 310 level up to 354. We sold this thing at 369, so it's not that big of a deal. But I was trying to buy back for another trade, just didn't quite get oversold on any of the indicators, and was kind of stuck in between the two moving averages. And a big rally today as Nasdaq, S&P, and Dow Jones all went to new all-time highs.
Somebody gave a buy recommendation on Coin. I think that's some big name. I saw it. Not sure what that was, but yeah. And actually, I'm thinking about
because volume hasn't really came in for this rally today either.
I've got some small profits and scratches there. I'm trying to decide whether to take that off for that triangle formation. Actually, is what I'm looking to do. So not sure.
Interesting. Todd over here still long a little bit on Coinbase. Not too much else going on. I mean, I'm looking through the alts here. Everything is up 1 to 5%. Nothing that's mind melting. Nothing's down all that much. Everything that is down 0.5% to 1.5%. So nothing too crazy here in the trenches. That is for sure. We got SBET and BMNR up between 2 and 3% on their own. I still think a lot of value there. You can get BMNR at equal MNAV to ETH, and SBET is actually negative MNAV, meaning you can get a discount to spot Ethereum prices, and I believe both of those will outperform spot Ethereum prices through the remainder of this bull market due to institutional investment and due to them actually producing DeFi yield, giving you more Ethereum per share on a weekly and monthly basis.
I'm going to go in and show this TLT chart that Big House brought up. There is the triangle I've been showing. The E-wave has gone a little bit higher here. I will say, though, if you look at the bottom here, the volume since this low here, when the going into the triangle, you've had continued new highs, and you've had big rally in the volume here in the last few months for the E-wave. So that doesn't look that good, because it looks like volume is coming into the upside, but price is going sideways in a triangle. You've seen me call those on the downside the reversals. So I still think we're making an E-wave top on the TLT. That means higher interest rates are incoming. I don't know what that means. Higher inflation, Fed not easy. I don't know.
Yeah, that is wild.
On that one.
Yeah, that is wild to hear, because I just see the Fed is starting QE. I think they're going to do a 0.5% basis cut this month. I think they'll do another 0.25% before the end of the year. And I think they do a massive printing. 1.5 trillion is the word on the street. So this would be a kind of counter indicator towards the statements of Powell wanting to go from QT to QE. And we'll see what happens there with that.
I mean, those are short-term rates. They're lowering. Long-term rates haven't carried quite as much. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, long-term rates look like they could skate higher here. So, will be interesting.
RJ says, speaking of oil stocks, any interest in KMI?
KMI was something I traded before that I gave to my... Hold on a second here.
And then Jasper says, which triangle formation in Bitcoin? So after KMI, if you want to look at the Bitcoin triangle and the Ethereum triangle one more time, for the latecomers and give us the levels at which those become invalidated.
Let me try to bring up this KMI because this was a good trade of mine. For my hedge fund buddy, you can see KMI had a big sideways triangle down there, and I had given a buy back at 15, but I did sell up at 24 when they got a little frothy. They got more frothy, and looks like possibly another triangle here. We did just take out what could have been thought of as a C wave, so this could be a C wave, but I'm not sure. I think Kinder Morgan is still a decent buy and hold here, but not one I've been on recently. And Bitcoin will go back to the chart I had up. Maybe you missed it when I brought it up, but we'll continue to talk about Bitcoin. I mean, we're just talking about the recent triangle. Because I've kind of been talking about that on the Discord. I wanted to trade Ethereum because I thought we'd have volatility. And again, it was the volatility inside that triangle. So, and I didn't trade the last one because I didn't want to be too cute on the E-wave rally, if that's what it was. So, still looking for a pullback. You can see volume continues to deteriorate. So, I wish we get some type of move to the lower end of the triangle, even if it's a fake out, so we could jump on the intervening rally. But for now, it looks like triangle. I know some Elliott waves calling that a fourth wave triangle, and I'm not sure it might be a B wave triangle. So we get the break to 98,000 that I've kind of been talking about for quite a while, and that scares out all the longs and gives us a lasting bottom. BNB, not much there. A little underperformance here recently. Same type of thing. I could see something really down below that 1,025 low. Maybe go down there, the 931 level if we do get a sell-off. Is where I'd be more interested in looking at it.
We got Jalen Strom 2 says fix FIX. I'm not sure if you know what that ticker is.
Well, I don't know if that's on the stock. That would be Momentum Scan gave a buy on that down there at 361. It is still long. That one that one's up on earnings. So yeah, I saw that. That's been a long holding on the scan back in April. So, and actually that was before I started following these scans. That was an old buy that I had listed there. So that one still continues higher.
That's crazy.
Comfort Systems USA.
If you bought that at 351 on the scan and it just gapped higher to $1,000, I don't know about you, but I would be taking some profits. At least take your initials off on that thing. Jesus.
Definitely on
Nice
that earnings. But that might be an earnings, lift off. So I just wish the momentum scan thing that I've got is doing really, really well. But I wish we would get these stocks to, take a 2 or 3 month breather, wring out the excesses. Then I think you want to jump on all these momentum scans because some of these have doubled and tripled off some even July buy signals, but definitely back in April, I wasn't doing it then. Nick, I'm going to give you the screen because I got to take this call for a trade.
Sounds good. Yeah, it is kind of wild to see. You can look here at NASDAQ that we are at all-time highs, 55% off the lows. And you want to mute yourself?
I do.
Hopefully he doesn't say anything too bad. But all-time highs here for NASDAQ, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see because you think there could be a cool down, but it's going to be hard to have a cool down when, the Fed is doing QE, if the Fed prints 1.5 trillion. Also, if they lower interest rates, people are going to find themselves pulling out of money markets. And there's $7.5 trillion in the money markets that will need to invest somewhere. And normally they start investing in risk-on assets. And that would be NASDAQ. That would be Bitcoin. That would be other opportunities. So we'll see how all that plays out here in the near future. But as you can see, we were buying, not panicking on the massive tariff FUD. We saw a V-shaped recovery, and now NASDAQ just keeps grinding new all-time highs. So I was just telling everybody, Todd, it's going to be hard to understand how NASDAQ is going to find a cool-down period if indeed interest rates get cut. There's $7.5 trillion in the money markets that probably would need to invest in something. And usually they come to NASDAQ, they come to Bitcoin and risk-on assets, but those things are already at all-time highs, besides Bitcoin, of course.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing. Stocks here have been banging these highs, and Bitcoin has, 15,000 off the highs. So not sure what to read from that.
Is there any other cryptos or stocks you want us to take a look at? Again, we kind of covered the triangle for Bitcoin and ETH. It's kind of a holding pattern here. CPI data did come in lower than expectations, which leads me to believe there will be interest rate cuts this month once again. Hopefully, I want to surprise 50% basis point cut and markets start ripping for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Obviously, we are in cash on our Bitcoin and Ethereum positions from higher prices, so it'd be nice if we got a buy set up before that happened. But we're kind of following along. It's pretty wild that NASDAQ, Dow Jones, S&P 500, all at all-time highs right now, even with some of the headwinds they've been facing. A consolidation in stocks is what Todd wants to look for to kind of reset and buy some more positions. But, man, I don't know where or how we can get that if QE, in fact, is coming. But, again, you can always have black swans in any market, and Trump is known to create black swans on his own and then solve them very shortly after.
On ADA, no change. It's got a little small triangle as well there on the chart. So it's got to get above, 69 cents or so to get that thing working higher.
Somebody wants you to take a look at the ZEC chart. One that we've been talking about is that thing just absolutely did like a 10x while nobody was looking. Went to a new high of 300, but it has pulled back to like 256. Still one of the best performance for the last week.
Yeah, not much to add on that chart. Let me bring it up real quick. But we had the big divergences at the lows. And continuing to outperform, holding right in. So if we would get any type of sell-off on Bitcoin down to 98 grand, you probably want to get all over Zcash, I am sure. And while we're here, BMNR, you want to talk about that one, Nick?
Yeah, Zcash kind of looks like it's forming a pork blaster up there. That would be interesting. That would be a big pork blaster if that was the case.
Right, definitely. We're going to use a split screen. I think we're okay on this, so we're going to go to that right now. So you can talk about some of these.
Yeah, for BMNR, obviously we're in lower, but some of you guys need to, figure out what positions you want. I understand all that. This is what we're looking at here. The Ethereum Strategic Reserve, Bitminer now added another 33% of ETH to their bag, Sharplink Gamer another 2.5, and the Ethereum Foundation did not sell like we told you they didn't. They just moved it to a different wallet. So everything to me points that these are going to be the top leaders in the space, kind of the strategies of the Ethereum Strategic Reserves. And remember, these are born when Ethereum has not gone to new all-time highs yet in 5 years, and really Ethereum price has been sideways to lower since these really got started, besides their first buys when they're buying 1,500 on the way up to 4,000. So I still believe in these. I own these from lower, and I don't mind people nibbling on them. Obviously, we'll let Todd look at the charts, but this is what I like to see. Bitminer MNAV is almost flat, so it's just like if you were to buy spot Ethereum. And Sharplink Gaming is actually at a discount to the amount of Ethereum per share that they have. So that is a screaming buy to me as far as if you're buying ETH right now. Hypothetically, you're buying ETH now, you don't think it's going lower. I think that Sharplink Gaming is actually a discounted rate to Ethereum spot price. Plus, you are earning Ethereum per share for both of these, as they are staking their Ethereum to earn passive yield, which means simply by holding one share, that Ethereum per share is growing week by week, month by month. So if you believe in the future of Ethereum, I think they're good buys.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have much else to say. They're a little weak here following that Ethereum triangle. If we do break down one more time, these are going to get slapped real quickly. And that would probably be definitely a good chance to enter a position or average down, etc. So, and while we're here, let's talk about CORZ, because that's one that we've been talking about in the stock Discord. Jumping right back to 1927, I mentioned there on the break that I was holding that with small losses, looking forward still to perform probably pretty well. So has bounced back. Again, that one might come back down here in the next week or 10 days, but that one probably is one you want to be looking at too when we do pull back, if we do. And while we're here, let me run a disclaimer because I got to go here in a second.
There's a high degree of risk involved in trading stocks and cryptocurrencies. Our thoughts and ideas are for entertainment purposes only. Please consult your personal advisor or do your own research. Past results are not indicative of future returns.
I've got a client with a $1 million oil position on, so we have got to talk some before the close. So I don't have much else here. Nick, do you?
Yeah, we can kind of wrap it. We can kind of wrap it up. We'll look at the chat box. You got to close that position for sure. Here's the Rome token I was talking about. If you're a gamer, every weekend they're playing real money tournaments. So you can go play gladiator games and win real prizes, and they're using that revenue to buy the token. So it's had a nice rally. This was oh my gosh, it's hacked. It's going to zero from 5K market cap back up to 140K market cap, micro cap on Pulse Chain. Shout out to them. Surf token back above the 500K market cap, back to 540K, even with Pulse Chain not doing much. Getting a little green with Pulse Chain this last week. And you probably want to own 200,000 Surf or more. There will be a snapshot to earn an airdrop of a brand new token called XXX that's launching on Pulse Chain. 200,000 Surf or more gets you eligible to get not one, but 2 airdrops of a new Pulse Chain launch. And of course, if Pulse Chain is green, PTGC is green. That is still one of our favorites for the large cap. If you're confused about which core token to own on Pulse Chain, just buy PTGC, hold on, and let's see if Richard Hart wants to help pump that network. As for CZ, he did get pardoned. BNB has been pretty strong. BSC is not going anywhere, so we're still looking for opportunities over on Binance and the BSC network as well.
Okay, stocks up 520, NASDAQ up 300 so strong close in stocks, bringing Bitcoin 1,000 off the low there this morning. Ethereum got down to what, just like up 10 or so. Now we're up 75. So let's see if these things, turn lower after stocks close and get a little weakness, or whether they firm up and get through that 112, 113 level. So that is it. Yeah. We will be on here. I'll be on the weekend if anything major happens. Otherwise, I'm sure it'll be Nick and I Monday. See you.
Peace.
We'll see you all again. Sleep tight.